You're a wonderful girl. And Jill adored you. I just kept the idea to myself. I never mentioned it to Jonathan. Oh no. It's just that, well, with this terrible thing that has happened, I have to wonder if maybe some jealous guy or a girl did it. I had not thought of this before. Guys hit on Jill all the time, and she always turned them down politely. I was thinking like Mom Clarissa now. But it happened every day, I thought. Nobody stood out, except maybe Bobby, one of the cooks at the soup bowl. He was a big blonde surfer boy, and he always made it clear that he liked Jill. Jill used to look at him and shudder. He was all brawn, spending his free time catching a wave past the dilapidated remnants of the Venice piers. I was sitting next to Clarissa, drumming my fingers on my knees nervously. Could it be someone who just liked lesbians, or someone who was crazy for Jill, who killed her? But Jill and I always let people think that we were more like best friends or sisters, and everyone thought Jill, Pepper, Sylvia, and I were all just a group of friends. Now I had to wonder if someone had discovered our secret. Clarissa, radiant and beautiful, even in grief, got up from the sofa and padded into the living room, got up from her bed and padded into the living room to the bar area and poured us both 2 fingers of high-priced scotch. She was still wearing that blue, fluffy, floor-length nightie. Her feet were bare, and her signature bracelets jingled as she returned and placed the drinks on the glass coffee table in front of us. She sighed, and we both lapsed into a deep silence. I picked up my glass and took a swallow. It burned my throat raw, but I was thinking it might remove my hangover. I was wrong. I felt nauseated, felt bile rising in my throat, and I rushed to the bathroom where I vomited. Clarissa came in and put a washcloth under cold running water, wrung it out, and wiped my face. She could be so soothing. Such a good parent and friend. I sat on the side of the bathtub and I asked her, "Do you think we did anything wrong?" She smiled weakly and held my hand. "No, honey. You were friends all your lives. You weren't sisters. I know people thought the two of you as sisters, but well, you weren't really related at all. In a way, it was a comfort that you were with her. I knew she would always be safe, and I knew that you would never hurt her. We just have to make sense of this tragedy." We fell into silence, sitting on the side of the bathtub holding hands and letting the tears fall silently. Those moments seemed like hours, just silence and tears. An eternity later, I turned to her and asked, "How can I face a funeral?" Clarissa shook her head, replying, "I don't know. I don't know how any of us will face this." I looked around, realizing that Jonathan was gone, and I frowned. "Where's Jonathan?" Clarissa sighed. "He went to the funeral parlor to make arrangements. That's why you're here." She patted my hand and said, "To babysit me." I smiled weakly. "I think I'm the one who needs babysitting." Clarissa hugged me and used a small metal box remote to turn on her television. The news was on, and I shuddered when I saw Jill's picture on the screen. The reporter was mid-story, saying, "There appears to be no motive for the shooting. Her parents and adoptive sister were well-known members of the Venice Beach community. They owned several apartment buildings and a local hangout called the Soup Bowl. Anyone with leads to this..." Clarissa clicked off the television. "Ah!" she groaned. I sighed. "I can't take this." I groaned to myself, picked up the phone on the end table, and called my house. Pepper answered, snapping, "Where are you?" "Sylvia had to go to work. She said to swing by the station later, and maybe she might have some information for us." Okay, let's meet her on her lunch hour at 12:30. Bye, I said. I hung up and turned to Clarissa. I really have to go. I need some time to think. Then I'm going to meet Pepper. I promise I'll be back. She looked at me mournfully and sighed. Go, do what you have to do. I will be fine. I looked her in the eyes deeply. Will you? She nodded and I left. I skated blindly through the streets of Venice, remembering Jill. When she smiled, she had that dimple on her left cheek that made her look even happier. I remembered when we first became friends, and I asked her what her favorite color was. First, she said orange. I wrinkled my nose, and then she laughed and said, okay, yellow. We were sitting in the sand, pushing it together to make a castle. We were about 10 years old. The hippie scene in Venice was in full swing, with young people walking around barefoot in paisley bell-bottoms and long hair on both men and women. I remember saying, Jill, you are my best friend. She hugged me and said, and you are mine, Venus. We laughed as our castle toppled over. We picked up our pails and little tin shovels, knowing our parents would be expecting us home before it got dark. We didn't know anything about being in love, but we bonded. We were in the same class at school, and our parents were friends. Rushing my mind back to the here and now, I was searching for the idea that someone we knew would kill Jill. And why? I really didn't think our cook from the soup bowl did it, but someone did. The question was, who? I'm going to stop here. As you can hear, I live near train tracks, and there's constant sound of trains going by. It's cool. It's kind of nice at night. I look forward to my reading experiences with my audience. And I'd like to remind you that this book, Venus with Her Head in the Clouds by Wednesday Palacios, is available for $6.99 on Amazon.com. Thank you and have a good night.